Give me a few minutes while I get ready to start and just wait for a few people to join. While we wait, make it a happy trading. Yes. We're going to be trading downwards though, for the likes of it. But anyway, give us another minute or two. We've got a few people joining. I'll actually probably give it a minute and I'll start. What I have here is Bitcoin in a non-logarithmic setting. That's a logarithmic. The non-logarithmic, you can see a few points there from previous charts or discussions, and what have we got there? Okay, that's retest stuff. All right. Cycles. That's what we do. We have bull runs and we have cycles of bear runs. And if we're to look at this, we had a good run. And simplistically, you can just look at this chart and know that this is a distribution, not a continuation. And let's see the volume. Here's the volume. Here we go. Let's make it darker. Yeah, that's not nice. Okay, we can see how the volume is diminished. When we had the bull run, you can see that big run. We had actually pretty low volume before it started, and when the lows were actually lower than that. Actually, one more volume indicator I'm just going to put in there. Oops, on keyboard. O. Let's see. Where was it there? Oh, it's got too many indicators. Alright, what can I get rid of? Okay, I can get rid of this for the time being. Yeah, so if you look on this on the daily, just look at the volume on the daily. This is much more, yeah, so there is capitulation there, much more deep. We had our capitulation there as well. You can see that daily volume. And you can see, now I'm not going into the real technical analysis at the moment for the current situation, but I just want to highlight certain things with the volume. You can see this section of the volume for the bull run, very, very high greens compared to really disappointing. I mean, look at that rally, this last section compared to this, and you can see how this is bearish divergence. This was about flat, no, but here you can see it's just really dismal, and if you use this indicator with many indicators, you can see when it crosses a zero, it's a good time to get out, really. So just basic, whoops, I should have done that. So that's a daily. If we look on the weekly, probably give us a bit more of an idea. Let's just do that for a sec. Even this tool does the count, ABC, and the question is, where is our C going to end? So that's our fifth wave, A, B, C. Is that C enough? Historically, you would think that it should come down a bit lower to about 22, 23K for a significant bounce. And we'll talk about that if you're interested. Simple application to be bullish we just use this trend line, really. If we break this, then we become bullish. That's a weekly. And so far, we're having a bit of a bounce on the weekly. I think it's our first green candle, really, on the weekly. Let's have a look. So on the weekly, we had one already. So this week is turned to be green. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 red candles before we got the green. So this is our first green candle, and chances are we'll have more. But you can see that this moving average band, it's going to act like our first resistance here, and we'll go into details there. So got the kids in the background. Unfortunately, hopefully you can't hear them, but they're soon going to bed. It's 9:20 p.m. in Australia right now, so it should be their bedtime soon, little kids. So from a weekly perspective, just play that simple rule. If you want to be conservative, we use this RSI, and if we look at other historical events, it came a bit lower. So this is repeating. This one's the COVID scenario. So we might just hit that orange moving average for the RSI. We might get to that level or this band and then just drop again. And somewhere there, we might do a breakout. So scenarios that we're looking on a weekly basis. So if you're looking to play it safe and go long, that's one way. So the big picture, the volume is not there on the weekly, still negative. So we're going to be still bearish. On the daily, 3 daily, if you look at the 3 daily, the volume is still bearish. Here we had, look, even that 3 day, that's pretty low volume compared to the others. So nothing significant is taking place. So we can't go thinking that this is going to be a major run. We're having a bounce. It's called a bear market rally, really. So let's have a closer look, and let's see how we handle this market. So that's the main target. So I just want to give a background to this. And what I have drawn here is a whole bunch of Fibonacci perspectives, and one is to the downside and the other one's to the upside. And we can get rid of this for the time being. And this was my previous drawings. I thought this would be a good entrance. Actually, that wick was pretty much into my range, so I was happy with that. That was one of the ranges, and ideally I wanted to come down to this green line, but that was one of my ranges, which is a CME gap, ever wick. So that's a capitulation, which is a selling climax. Every time we have a selling climax, we have accumulation and then up. So we got this selling climax, and we're having our rally. And now let's have a closer look. Before we go in, you can see I've got a number of moving averages. I've got the 144, which is that. Which is the daily. It's on the 4 hour. Then I have the 200 on the 4 hour, and I have the 233 on the 4 hour. And above that, I've got the 200. I think that's the daily. So these are the 4 hours. These are the dailies, 200, SMA, and EMA. And why I use that is the 200 is traditionally known to be a strong support or strong resistance. And we had a confirmation here. And we had confirmation there. And along historically, we had them all along here. So we had a good 200. 200 is always playing. It's just industrial standard. And every time we get to 200 daily moving average, we get a rejection. And we're playing this scenario, but in a magnified way. If we put the logarithmic on, it'll come in a bit more clearer. Okay, so let me just get rid of this yellow Fibonacci. Let me get rid of these Fibonacci so you can have a better look. As we're getting closer, I think it's just too much noise there. And let's see, where are we? That one there. Okay, bit of a cleanup. And so, in context with the 200 moving average and the weekly 200 weekly moving average, that's down there as well. So 200 weekly moving average, the COVID scenario went below it, and now we are approaching this 200 weekly moving average. And I should put this other EMA 200 weekly moving average, so you can see how it played a role there. I'm not saying it's going to repeat, but it's a good likely chance that it will, to find support. And I think that if we get this, so you can see what I've done here with my monthly levels. Monthly levels are basically using monthly candles, and basically this monthly is being held up. Now it's going to be difficult stages. Ideally, I'm going to flip to the 80 hour now. Sort of gave the context of the moving averages, and you can see the confluence with the 4 hour moving averages, and then we've got the daily 200 moving averages. So these are all in context for what we're going to be looking here. And if it was to go above, so what we're looking for, if it's a decisive, so this is pretty much a resistance, previous resistance, and we're right there now. And what we're going to look for is a scoop, a cup. So what we want to see a cup formation, pulling back. And if you haven't entered here, which is an accumulation period, all this range is pretty much the dipside accumulation. And I'm sure we had a bullish divergence in the play in this manner. So if we look at it from here, MACD, you can see there's strong bullish divergence taking place. While we're going sideways, the bullish divergence is taking place on the 80 hour, and that's why we've got this pull spring. So this is a wick off accumulation with the last point pretty much representing a spring, and now what we're doing is what do you call it? A pivot point, if you want to call it, support level. Let me just flick this so I can get rid of these drawings. So I don't want it to keep getting messed. So what we have is this scenario here. Let me get in close. We've got our levels, and what we can do is, what I did was I grabbed Fibonacci, picked the bottom, picked the top, and ideally, sorry if you can hear that noise in the background with the kids crying. Where's my 786? All right, let's just do the default. Okay, no, that's not the one. By default, that will be probably the better one. Okay, so we're going to look for, so this was the level. So what we want to see is actually support at this level. That level there, which is pretty much a 786 if we reverse this. And what we want to see is, obviously we've got the pullback, which is confluence from there. Why am I keep getting red? Annoying. And that is a range. And what I would imagine that it comes down, and we should see something similar to this. If we see something like that, it's going to be a signal too. You can put your, stop moving the chart. Bit of a cup shape, and that could be a signal to, if it goes up there, that it's going to continue on. The candlestick formation is going to be important here. I don't see a problem coming down there. It's actually even better. It might range between that top level of support. Ideally, if it was above this, it would be better. At the moment, we're just seeing a bit of a cool down. The volume's not there, so like I said, it's not the best. Actually, where is that volume? Actually, yeah, it's not the best volume compared to the others. So I think everyone knows that's resistance, and pretty much this formation hit its target. So it's a descending triangle or wedge, and it hit its target. So what we're likely to see, if you are familiar with the Wyckoff accumulation pattern, I think we had an automatic response here, AR, ST, our spring, and we are likely to see that range and then up, hopefully. There is that possibility to, if the markers are crap, we come back down, and then we further look for this Wyckoff second phase of a complex accumulation. So that is possible as well. So if you haven't entered here, we'll be looking for this sideways range, looking for it to hold. And if it holds above this, so if it comes down and then regains this, we're going to have higher lows. And therefore, we are expecting, from this perspective, that is our first resistance, that is our second resistance, then we got our 37 level, and then we've got our pretty much close to 40 level. And I'm going to go into those details as well. So we need to see a bit of a pullback for good entry. At the moment, we don't have that on the ADR. What else do we have from this tool? Give us a sec. Okay, so you can see with this Phoenix, all the RSIs, all of them came above, and the chances are that this momentum will go sideways. It's orange, and we have our RSIs pretty much like this, giving us bullish momentum. So that's what I'm looking for. So the indicators are supporting it. I wonder if the RSI, if it gives us anything. So the RSI is broken the 50% level, which is a change in trend on the 80 hour. So that's pretty good. And although we're probably slightly overextended, we've still got more to go. And that will give us a lot to go to that next level. So what am I looking for? I have Bitcoin already. And what I would like to see, and we can do it here. We can get rid of that for now. Actually, I might just put it to the side. We can do fib extension, okay? And the targets. We've done this before. Swing low, swing high, and I'll pick that level there. You can use the wick. That's probably better, the wick. And You can see the 618 is confluent with the monthly level, and the other wick, I think there's another level there. So if I was to switch the pricing on, you can see this is going to be our major resistance level with these moving averages. So we've got the monthly candle, we've got the moving averages, and the 618. This is going to be a very strong resistance level, along with, as you can see, if I was to stretch this across, previous support levels. So previous support becomes resistance. So that's going to be a strong resistance if we were to get there, and we'll know by anything similar to this type of formation, a reversal pattern in there, we should short it and look for much more deeper trend coming down. You might get a bit of a bounce and then further down. Ideally, with this volatility, the higher it goes, that will be our next stop, which is our equivalent to 1, which is about 40,600. And ideally, that we would like to see that we have our, I suppose, our 1, 2, 3 move. 1, 2, 3, and further down. And so this is what I'm hoping for. Is it likely to get that? I don't think so. I don't think it's going to make it to that level. And if we were to look at the trend line, so this trend line here, for instance, is based on the logarithmic. So if we were to change that, always changes its orientation when I do that. You can see that this trend line could possibly come into play as well. So if this was to go sideways, this trend line is pretty much going to be aligned with this moving averages. These moving averages might come sideways, trend line, and therefore a drop. We see you got this macro Fibonacci as well. So if we were to go back a step, you got our macro Fibonacci, which is the bottom, using the bottom as a 1 and the top as 0, or you can flip this around. So we also have this macro Fibonacci along with the 618. So this is definitely a major resistance. Ideally, we need to keep an eye on it, but this is where the volume profile, point of control also comes across. It's a huge resistance. So even if this could get past that, we need to make a new weekly high to go bullish, and RSI will help us look at it. We can get to Solana, but hopefully that makes sense. So for the short term, we are looking for a slight pullback and a movement to the upside. We can potentially have a rejection here. It is on the table. This level, if I was to switch to another chart, which this one here. So let's just change that around. We had pretty much on the 4-hour, I think was a very good chart. You can see this fib fan. It's actually played its role. So what we had with this fib fan, I won't go into explaining what fib fans are, but you can see how the Fibonacci on this, so we have Fibonacci support. Once it breaks, it comes down and hits the next fib fan, and you can see how it took as support. And so what we're looking for is likelihood that we hit this red line or this fib fan and see what happens from there. So that's the next level of resistance, just by looking at the fib fan. If it makes it, it could potentially keep going like that. So this fib fan could also play a role in our observation. I haven't put the moving averages on this one, but pretty much this fib fan does help visualize. We can also look at this trend line, short-term trend line, and we can potentially find that as a resistance as well. So there's a number of dynamics in play, but at the moment, definitely bullish. If we were to lose that level there, it's going to be negative. So that looks like it's actually likely to go there. It's not really pulling back at the moment, is it? So it's not really pulling back at all. So it's a bit bullish. So what price tends to do is reattempt. So it's going to retry that. If it gets a rejection, then it'll come down deeper, so, and maybe touch that level. And then we'll look for a nice and look for the response. At the moment, it's not a good time to enter. Be patient. I would say that it'll get another rejection because we had a lot of rejection here. So we might see a bit of a consolidation in that range, maybe a slight wedge, and then up again. So this range, that could be the first, that could be the second before it goes up. If we drop below that, don't look to going in. We need to be above. I think this is pretty much very, very important. So if we're to lose that, I'll have my stop losses pretty much underneath that candlestick. So if you were to enter, have your stop losses under that. And that's pretty much my thoughts with the entry coming into this. So be patient. Now I think tomorrow. So if we go to some of these charts, SP500 for instance, the markets aren't open yet. Markets are closed. Market opens in 1 hour. Okay. The US, it was on holiday. So that's our SP500. This is the US dollar currency. So we are getting pulled back with the US dollar. I do see, I actually mentioned this last time, that I got two levels, that level and this level as potential resistance. And if we were to go there, it might just come back down like that. And that's probably makes sense. If I was to actually clean this up a bit, I'll show you what I'm thinking, which is likely to happen. We have a ABC. This one here, where is it? A, B, C, D. So we have A, B, C, and 618. So we might just do that target. We might just play that out. It's confluent with the 200 moving averages, along with the key Fibonacci levels. So this could come up to, like you can see here, this was resistance, and this is going to be pretty much perfect. So come in an hour or so, we found our support range. That's the neckline. We've broken above it. If we go below it, then we're going to go deeper. And the reason why we're talking about this is because of the confluence with the crypto market and the stock exchange. And we'll look at NASDAQ is doing something similar to this. So we had this good, nice rally. Bitcoin's a bit slow in responding the same way. Volume's looking good here. So I do expect some type of up to that level and then reassess. I do think there'll be a rejection there. It's a good level for rejection. Support, previous support and resistance, along with this ABC move and then we'll measure, see what happens. Got this neckline, it could potentially go up again. Many people are bearish. They think we're going to have a bear market. So this is my ultimate goal. If it's a bear market, if we lose this level, I do see it coming down much further. And that really depends on how the US dollar interest rates are raised or not. This is a major resistance. We can have a continuation pattern here, consolidation, or we have another one more bounce and then up. So, or in the mid-level, this structure's there. So, or we can have this flat top structure, but there is a structure here, and the pullback could be up to this level before it goes up, or further deeper. And as long as that happens, the stock markets are likely to go up. So that's what I got for that there. And let's look at a few other charts just to see. Where is it? What is it? I'll look at the Nasdaq just for a quick look. As I showed you, SP 500, you can see the Nasdaq has the stochastic, MACD, and the RSI. This is the daily, and so everything's looking good. It's a breakout. So we're seeing momentum to the upside. If there's a rejection, early rejection, then it makes sense. But that is a bear market. So if we can't get above that, it's pretty much confirmed. We've had a pretty much a good pullback and hit our target on the Nasdaq with the 200 moving averages. But it could be a deeper one, and some people say worse than 2008. So we'll see. At the moment, it is oversold conditions. It hit a nice support level, previous support here. So I do see Bitcoin going up, and it's possible that Bitcoin can go to those levels that we're talking about before. Let's look on the daily. I wonder if I have my chart, our targets here. So if it was to be a nice bullish time, we could just show you quickly how we measure the targets. 40,000 or so is what I'm looking at from this perspective. And what we measure is from a swing, what is it? From the swing low to a swing high to a swing low. And these are the macro targets. So first one is 34,800, like I showed you before. And then the macro with this trend line is going to be potential. So if we continue on, we break this decisively. If this was to keep going and it goes above and then drops back, then we can look at this next level, and that's where I think a major short will come. This is a pocket for the 200, and this moving average as well, which is, I think is a 233. Which one is this? No, 21 weekly moving average, right? So we've got a bunch of stuff that's going to be holding us back. Right. So with that mindset, with the idea that Bitcoin is likely to still rally, it's not as big as an accumulation as this. So this could be a small rally and therefore smaller range targets. With that mindset, we'll have a look at Ethereum and Solana as requested. This is the Livermore structure. The Livermore structure pretty much dictates that this funnel or broadening wedge. If you look at the Livermore structure, this is what I got. 0.13, 0.14 is roughly there, and 0.15 is roughly where number 7 is. And that's pretty much, with the alts getting smashed, it could potentially go down that far. You got to remember that between this point to that point, it's pretty much hardly any volume. it just skyrocketed up. So if we look at it from a macro perspective, I have it going. I have levels. I have this 618 level first. Yep. How do I conclude? How do I get this level? If I was to do this, I did my assumption that it comes down to there. Price comes there, because of the macro 618. If price was to find a strong support there, I think it'll get rejection around this level, which is the line. And if that's the case, you can see my 618 or the 1 potentially being the target. So you can see the 0.5 on the macro aligns with the 618 extension. So we expect a good bounce there. And it could be a reversal as well. So that could be, just got to keep an eye on it. So that's my main target. And if it's a real bear market, like people say, then we can go way down to this level, which probably equates to Bitcoin between 10,000 to 15,000 range. So if Bitcoin was to come down to 10 to 15,000, then Ethereum could probably come down to that low as well. And that's basically on the structure. So what we had is this capitulation, but our bull market really started there. And so the cycle comes back to where it finished. And if it's a real bad market, then we'll go further down. But I do see this is a key level. So the price could come there, and then we can have a reversal. And probably fits in with our trend line, I think. Is there a trend line there? Let's see. We've got 1 point there. Yeah, it could probably do it. Yeah, that is a trend line, isn't it? So now, then we have a trend line if it comes to that level as well. So that's my Ethereum perspective. Now let's look at close. Do not go long with Ethereum. It's my point of view. Give us a sec. What we have now is just a nice bounce. That's the 3-day chart. Now, 3-day chart pretty much shows you that it still hasn't broken this level. We haven't passed the 50% level yet. And you can see every time we break one of these, so if I was to get a horizontal line, the RSI, as soon as we break the moving average, you can see that big move. If we break that, you can see slightly big move, and it uses that moving average as support. But once we lose it, you can see the capitulation. So once we lost that moving average, it was capitulation. So the moving average with using the RSI is pretty good. We have bullish divergence, as you can see here. So what we had, we've got, if I was to do it, you've got this line. Yeah. So we're having so what we have here is number of support lines, and pretty much found support along with this fib extension. So that's why we got the bounce. If I can bring it back. Yep. So the question is now, what's our target? So we can do a swing low, swing high, and a swing low. And let's flick to the 8-hour chart. Okay, so we can see our resistance pretty much aligned with a trend line there. So what I see, let's say Bitcoin do what it's supposed to do, but we do definitely have that point of resistance along there. If you want to look for an entry, there might be some consolidation and then a breakout. So I would look for this line. I would definitely look for that line as a means of. So if we break that, give us a sec. We've got two levels here. We have that flat level, and we have this trend line. So if we were to come down, and you can see this is support, so that would be a nice area to buy, depending on what Bitcoin does, as long as it doesn't drop that key level. Then if we break that level, it's like we had three touches. The fourth touch usually breaks up. So I would look for the fourth touch as a breakout, and find you can trade that, but I would find that as resistance, and you might just consolidate and then break. So this real estate area is where you should be looking for consolidation. It's very possible that it just goes up from here. It doesn't spend any time with that flat level. That flat level there, it only has one touch. That's a second touch. So it's not a strong resistance at this point, because it's not a strong support either. So it's more likely that this trend line is the one that you take for as a serious breakout, and you'll be good. If that makes sense. What's the target? We can use that bottom. I'll get that again. We'll do that. I won't. I'm okay with that. So we've got the 618 as acting as resistance with this fib extension. So we can use the formation as a target, the high. That could be our target. If it breaks out there, which equates to roughly this level here on the 1.414. So that will be our first target. And then you can see that's got confluence along that area. This could be our initial target, resistance there, which is here, 0.2. So there's going to have one resistance level, and then this is a major resistance level there, based on this formation. Okay. So I do see this potentially just not much lower, just consolidation and a breakout. We'll have a look at a few other charts like the total market cap. Long term wise, I did say that if I was to put those moving averages in there, let's just get rid of all this for a sec. Big picture. Yeah, so we've got that line, and you can pretty much say that it's a channel too, really. Seems like a downward channel. I'll get rid of this lines for a sec. So you can see, I want to show you this one here. If I can just hide a few things. I'll leave it there for a sec. This is a continuation pattern. So if I hide this for a sec. So we've got, from the top, we have this descent. We have this bull bear flag. And what we can do is a measured. So what we did here is two ranges. We get that range, apply it to the bottom or to the top there, and that one roughly did the target. So that was my first target. We're close enough, which is the bottom, so it didn't go further down. So realistically, we hit our target. That's the first target based on that measured move. The second measured move, if you grab that and apply it to the breakout, our second target's there, which is about 1200, 1400. So if this was, and I do see this as a distribution, so I can explain much more, but basically that level to that level are key levels, and that's our support line. So if we lose our support line, we are definitely going to go down there. This is our BC, UT, Wyckoff. Just a sec, where is it? That's our reference. So we have our BC there. We had our PSY there. What we're doing is we're going through this stage here, LPSY. So the LPSY, I don't see it going too high. It could be some sort of triangle or ascending wedge where we just, and then drop. So I don't see it going that high at all. I don't see it going that high. This is probably the pivot point with the alts, and then I'll continue on movement. So you go with the trend. This will be a significant level for reversal. I think that will equate to our Bitcoin as 20,000 or 18,000, and then we'll see, reassess at that. But I do think that that's very likely. See here, this level there, as price went up, it found resistance, therefore, and found support. So this level here is a major support level, and we could probably go much more higher, but still find that resistance and then further down. But that's further on. We'll have a look. But you can get the understanding that that is a big form distribution structure. You can probably say, you can make the argument, if that's the ascending, actually what's this? Haven't done that, clean this chart up as well as I should. And so what we can see here realistically is an ascending wedge. It's really a distribution. And if that's the case, what we have, when price came up, it found this first point, 2, 3, and you can say that's a head and shoulders, yeah, or an ascending wedge. And the first target of that is from the neckline and realistically where it started from. So again, confluence with the structure and its target. So that's for Ethereum. And if we were to look at dominance, so I did make this call some time back and still relevant. You can see it hit the 618 extension, very confluent with this level here. This level, you can see that level is resistance and perfect. So that 618 is pretty much just a fib extension from there to there. Just works. So that's why we're having a bit of resistance. We might pull back, and I think that's what we're seeing now with a bit of the rally. We might just come down and then bear market move. Yeah. The RSI at the moment, there is a bit of bearish divergence, just like this bearish divergence that took place. you can see that this was like a reversal pattern, because as dominance went up, we're getting this bearish divergence. Here we've got bearish divergence, and it's just going to get a rejection and then further down. So I do see this also going to kick in, but how deep is this going to go? The furthest I can see this going is to this level of support. If we were to break that, then it's going to be a much more of an alt season. So it might come. I don't think it'll come there. I think it'll just hang around this level, consolidate before it goes up. Let's look at total market cap, see what it says, just to see if things are lined up. Okay, so the total market cap pretty much reflects similar to what Bitcoin does. Where is it? I do see as a big macro distribution and very similar to Bitcoin. Where's this formation? Visibility, daily. Just not see the picture. Oh, there it is. That's not the picture I wanted. No, that's not the one. There it is. Cool. So that's what we're looking at from a total market cap perspective. And I've pretty much lined up. You can see how it's lined up. And this support line is pretty much, let's do this, is that there. So that support line is that support line there. So if I just push that to the back, yep, you can see that. So it's its last fight. So we've got the LPSY or the SOW. Look at the wick off information for that. Support line is that there, and we're right on it, very much showing that the LP support level is not really that, doesn't really go that high. So we if we were to go on to this one, you know, the total market cap is pretty much, it's going to do its last bear in a bear market, a slight bull rally, and then come down further. And that's what we have. It's so far aligned. It's no joke. So we can say, okay, where's the total market cap going to be? You can do it a few ways. You can get that. Just make sure it's log enabled. And when we see this, we should keep in mind that when price drops, we'll look at these key fib levels and see how it equates to Bitcoin and the alts. 618, you can see how it's going to be a potential good support level. Right there we thought, what's this one? The 200 weekly moving average. So that if we lose the 200 weekly, that's confirmation that's a bear market, pretty much. So if we lose the 200 weekly moving average, which is that macro level, that's it. We're in a bear market, and that's why we can say that these levels are very significant. So that's worst case scenario. Then we have a few other scenarios there. That's probably a good level to jump into. Why is that? If we were to say this is that level there, we get that level and just measure it down. It's pretty much on the mark, give or take a bit. So that top structure is looking for the 0.5 and we might see some buying there. Therefore, but anyway, just looking at things in parallel. Never look at in isolation. And let's look at Solana. Oops. No, it doesn't look good, does it? He hasn't really done a rally, so the alts aren't looking the best. So if we look on Solana on the daily, there's a bit of bullish divergence there, but it's nothing strong. RSI doesn't look impressive. The Phoenix, see how we've got the, so if you look at the Phoenix, this is the daily chart, and these, although we have momentum to the upside, this is not going to be changing trend until this goes up to the top. So yeah, I think it's going to go more sideways than anything with this daily indicator. Let's just look at one chart at a time. I'll pick up the 8-hour and I'll get rid of the log. So I think I had something like that. So that actually posted this. This is an accumulation area, but the other level is further down. So we had a bounce there, good level of support. This could just go sideways for some time, even worse. It just could drop further. I'm not saying zero, but that's the next level here. $19. $19 from Solana. What we want to see is a reversal structure, and at the moment there isn't. No, see how we had this accumulation? I think we could potentially have accumulation. If it holds that level, there's no rush. This took, how long did this take? Give a sec. 82 days. So it's too early to look at what structure there is and how to take this on. If we look at, that is the 8-hour. It doesn't look strong at all. I think this is just going to keep going down, to tell the truth. I was hoping it will go somewhere around there. So at the moment, nothing. Don't rush into your alts. That's my advice. Look for setups. That would have been a good shorting opportunity. It doesn't look good. Solana doesn't look good at all. That's understandable because it's done really well. And it's done a topping off distribution there. So that was key levels. You can see where it is. Just doing a Fibonacci, it will tell you this was a neckline. That was a neckline, and then the second neckline there. So once you lose these levels, last effort, you can say that's a head and shoulders as well, up to a point. But that's a structure. If that was a structure, height. So if that was a height, actually went further down than that. I wouldn't take this. This is just a line. There's no really meaning to it at the moment. I'm just putting it there. It could come in handy later on. I'll just have my lines drawn in. So if this was the rally, I would see maybe a pivot point and then come down more. But yeah, I do see $20 for the time at the moment. At the moment, what is it? It's $40 to $46. I do see it coming down to $20. Historically, this was good support level. We could we can either hit, so we've hit the top of this range as support. That was our resistance level, and that's where we're finding support. Yeah, so this structure's resistance is our structure's current support, and if we're to lose that level, which is about $39, if we're to lose that, I do see it coming down further to this bottom level, and I think that's a good, that I would say that's where you put your some buying orders, not too much. It could potentially just wick, if there was a capitulation, it could just wick and then continue on like that, and then up. So you might have the chance of put some orders down there. You never know what's going to take place. But at the moment, I just see that level up to $55 and just going sideways until Bitcoin decides what it's going to do, and this might come down. This didn't capitulate as much as, say, my favorite TrueBit. So TrueBit capitulated, and that's my recommendation for you guys. Big tip for you, TrueBit. Our group knows about it. TrueBit came down to 6 cents, and now it went up to 28 cents. So that was just a sec. You can't buy it from an exchange. It's pretty much MetaMask type of stuff. 300% since 12th of May. That's just shows you that this is in big demand. And if you're interested in TrueBit, actually, could I put a, no, okay, I probably can. Let's see, TrueBit is a big secret, as I believe, a hidden gem, and I missed the opportunity to buy there. Just not focused, but that would have been perfect buy. If it was to come back down, I would definitely go buy it. So if this was to come back down again, I would definitely buy TrueBit, because that could be all-time low before it goes back up. So we've got this broadening wedge. So if that's our A, B, our C, our D, our E could be somewhere down here as well. So if it doesn't break above this, then I could see a double bottom. Yeah, we go 1, 2, 3, and then back up. So be patient, and that's my tip for TrueBit. Moonbeam and Moonreader is what I'm looking to go along as well, and that's pretty much what I have at the moment. If you got any questions, let me know. Otherwise, I think it's a wrap up. Let me just have a look. Give me a second on notes if I have to look at anything else. So let's go back to Bitcoin just to see what it's doing. Damn. So yeah, how to approach this market if you joined us late. There's definitely a level of interest. This is more so. Where is it? Yeah, so this one here, that's more of an interest there. I'll get rid of that for a sec. That level there where previous resistance was there, and definitely that is support. So what we're looking for an entry, if I can get the squiggly line, no, I don't want that. What we're looking for an entry is this coming back down and seeing support. You can see support, seeing how you can have some wicks like that, but long as this level is held, and we can see something similar. I don't have it here. Can't find it, but yeah, and then we have this level here. That red line, that's the next level of resistance. And then we got our that's the next resistance there. So we've got a whole bunch of resistance levels. And this is good to assume. We assume that from there to there is 1. You can see that if we just do some smart work with Fibonacci, this is a method you can use as well. I'll make the 618 as support. Yeah, this I use a 667 and the 618 as support, the range, which tends to work, and this one equates to that level there. Then we can have, if we put it on our other Fibonacci's, you can start seeing the confluence in the 618 is there. So that can be, so we can see confluence, yeah, 0.5 acting as support. We've got this fib channel. So we've got a whole bunch of lines. This is not relevant. This is just the big macro ABC. But yeah, short term wise, we need to see this come down. I do believe you just be patient, and then will be a good entry. As long as you see some strength in there, some support candles, it's probably better to look at the 4 hour. And if you can see that it's just holding, then it's a good entry, and then we could get that next level of resistance. And these are the major ones. And so the ones I'll just point out are the major ones based on a fib extension model. Yep, that all fits perfect to a point. There we go. So now you can see how that everything just lines up perfect. Yep. Give or take. So this one could be just that range there. So that's what I see at the moment. I do see this as a reversal. This is going to be a major resistance, so we can potentially just get a rejection. Maybe we get even a stronger move. Get a rejection there, then a bit of support, and we get that next second wind. Maybe we'll get a second wind from this way. So we have our ABC. That way, I don't think that's the case. I think it's going to be more here. And then we have a 1, 2, 3 move. And hopefully it goes up to this level here, where we, like I talked about, the 200 moving averages. And that's where we're going to find a lot of resistance, potentially up to that level there. But that's being hopeful. I just never know, but that's just being very hopeful. It's probably not going to happen. And yeah, so that's it, man. I'm wrapping it up. Hopefully you benefit from this. Please give me a like and share, and come and join our community. I'll put my Telegram. You can join our Telegram for 10 days free, and if you like it, you can stay on, and our Discord channel as well. So all that will be in my signature or in the live chat area. And if you've got any questions, I'll try to answer them for the next session. All right, I'm wrapping it up. I've been online for a while, and I'll talk to you soon. Cheers.